About a half hour before kickoff, the 49ers faced their biggest question of the season. And now that the game is over, they have answered it in a definitive way. We'll break it all down next. What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Gold Standard Instant Reaction Podcast on the Gold Standard and the Fans First Sports Network. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. He's Vish Kumaran. It's hugs and handshakes at Levi's right now, Vish. The 49ers dominated the New York Jets 32-19. No Christian McCaffrey in the game, and I can't believe I'm saying this. It didn't matter at all.
Yeah, this was a Kyle Shanahan masterclass. In a lot of ways, before the game, when I was previewing it, Rob, I was comparing this to like how they play the Rams in the sense that the Jets are this super fast team on defense. But the 49ers are both fast and big, and they would use misdirection in their run game and a lot of horizontal movement to open up bigger lanes to later gash them up the middle. It's how they've beaten the Rams for years, and they completely negate the pass rush by staying away from third down and sticking to a quick timing rhythm passing game and throwing off their rush with a bunch of screens, misdirection, motions, jet sweeps, all of those things. This was that on steroids. It was a Kyle Shanahan masterpiece. The way he controlled the game, the way he controlled the tempo of the game. Like, this is why I understand why it's so difficult to give credit to the Niners players, because it's not that they all didn't play well. 11 players have to execute the way they did for today's performance, but it was just a coaching masterpiece. I mean, he controlled the game individually. And it's hard to stop a team when you're able to run the football, and the way they were able to run it, all the different ways they attacked them on the edges, all the different ways they attacked them on the inside later. It was incredible. Kyle Shanahan, I'm so happy that you coach my favorite team. It's a joy to watch you every Sunday. Monday.
As James Thomas points out, with NFL offenses looking bad this week, and they did, the average quarterback threw for 175 yards this week. The 49ers scored on 8 straight drives in the game, Fish. They punted on the first possession, and after that, it was field goal, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal, end of game. And they could have scored more.
And Rob, a great point with this, because you and I do these drive-by-drive breakdown shows, and the last 2 years, one of our big themes would be, procedure penalty, holding, false start, automatic 49ers drive killer. And in some ways, there were a couple of drives killed by penalties in the sense that they were stalled the field goals, but they also overcame a lot of stupid kind of unfortunate calls and stupid kind of penalties by different players that were quite undisciplined. And I will have to say the one difference when I compare it to the Rams game is I thought Brock Purdy made a lot of high-level throws to the second level, intermediate over the middle of the field, over the first wave of defenders. The Niners' run game was doing an amazing job in a lot of those three-level concepts of opening up space in between the linebackers and the safeties and sometimes corners, depending on what coverage they were playing. And he was just pinpoint accurate, standing tall in that pocket with great timing and rhythm, and he was just ripping throw after throw after throw. And those aren't necessarily easy throws to make. I'm excited to see JT O'Sullivan watch this game, because I think he's going to be pretty effusive in his praise of Brock Purdy.
I want to get to the super chats. There's a ton, and I promise I'll get to every one of them. But I just want to say this, because this was, Aaron Rodgers making his big return, coming back, and Robert Saleh wanting to prove to everybody he can coach, and the Jets defense, wanting to show that, hey, when we have an actual offense, we're pretty good. And you know what? This just in. The 49ers are still good. Like, we're still here. We're still the class of the NFC. We've announced to the rest of the league, we're still good. We didn't even have Christian McCaffrey, and we put up 30+ on the Jets defense. We stuffed Breece Hall in the game. He didn't do a damn thing. The Jets ran the ball 19 times for 3.6 yards per rush. Unbelievable job by the 49ers defense. This is a statement win, and it could have been even bigger, Vish, because Brandon Aiyuk dropped the touchdown pass, and Kyle Shanahan had a 4th and 1 from like the 3-yard line and chose to kick a field goal. They could have put up even more points tonight.
I knew you would go there. The most irrelevant point in the game, and you had to just slip it in there. That's fine. I'll let you do that.
Oh, I'm just
I
saying,
think
they could have scored more.
one of the things I mentioned in my pregame, Rob, is I feel like there are weaknesses to this team, and they've kind of been overshadowed this offseason by some of the mainstream coverage, in my opinion, both ways. I feel like they've missed certain things with this team that are different from last year. But that's fine. I didn't feel like the Jets were the kind of team that were going to be able to exploit it. For example, the 49ers defensive line, I'm still nervous about the depth. I Rob, Rodgers is just the last couple years, Rodgers looked like, to be fair, he looked fully recovered from his Achilles, but he looked like the Rodgers we've seen the last couple years. And people
Yep.
compare him to Brady. But the difference between Brady and Rodgers at this point is that Brady at 40 and 41 was still willing to stand tall and throw the ball down the field if he had protection.
Yep.
And Rodgers, the last few years, has not been willing to stand and throw the ball down the field. And for
Yep.
whatever reason versus the 49ers, Fred Warner completely spooks him. So he completely negates throwing to the middle of the field. And if you're playing the 49ers, that means you're going to have to take your chances throwing the football outside the numbers and challenge their corners vertically. And Rodgers isn't inclined to do that because he's totally spooked by the rush. And that's where I think it was just a bad matchup for them. And I thought they did an excellent job of loading the box and stopping Breece Hall because that was their big threat in this game. Rodgers just doesn't well against this defense. That's total credit to the 49ers defense, their players, the coaching staff, and all of that. But I do think that I want to mention that to me, this was more of an Aaron Rodgers problem. And I still have some lingering questions for the 49ers defense, despite a terrific performance today.
Yes, for sure. This isn't like, oh, we're going undefeated. Everything's great. There's no weaknesses, but this is a hell of a start. Breece Hall, 16 carries in the game, 54 yards. That's 3.4 yards per carry. Did have the touchdown, but even on that drive, he really didn't do much. It was a very short touchdown run. Plenty to break down. Let's get to some super chats because people have been waiting, and I appreciate that. Larkin, YouTube channel member, says Brock should name his first kid Jordan Mason Purdy. Sorensen passed the first test. Jets still suck. 1 down, 16 more. Brandon Allen kneels to go. Let me just say this. We have been waiting, Vish, for Jordan Mason. How long have we been waiting to see Jordan Mason? And
you a lot more than me. I've always been like, hey, there's a reason he doesn't get on the field. He doesn't pass block well. He doesn't run routes well.
And I want to give credit to Brock Purdy because I thought there were a lot of plays, Vish. I don't know if you saw this, but I felt like there were a lot of plays because McCaffrey was out and Debo was in the backfield where Brock was directing traffic. Hey, you get on the other side of me. You go over here. Jordan Mason, move over here. I thought he was doing a lot of traffic directing. It went smoothly. That's credit to Brock. But Jordan Mason, 28 carries, 147 yards, had a touchdown, made me some money because he was plus 700. Michelle told you to take him on Friday, plus 700 to score a touchdown. Jordan Mason, he did it, 5.3 yards per carry. And he looked, Kyle said it on the broadcast, he looked like he always looked, Vish. Runs hard, makes decisive cuts, doesn't, dance around. And he put it on the Jets tonight.
Absolutely. He was awesome. It's kind of throwback because in a lot of ways, this looks like the next Mike Shanahan back. Like this is how, Tatum Bell and Olandis Gary and a lot of these guys stylistically different, but this is how they would look. And that's how Jordan Mason looks. Like Jordan Mason legitimately looks like the kind of bell cow that you can run 25 times in a game. And obviously, the 49ers need Christian McCaffrey. He's their best player. I think Jordan Mason is capable of leading the league in rushing. In a lot of ways, like Alfred Morris did the first 2 years, or he was top 2-3 in the league in rushing. That's the kind of back I think Mason is. Now, I do think some of that is obviously scheme oriented, and I chose him and Debo to score the touchdowns like you as well with my prediction, mostly because I compared the matchup to the Rams game. But I think maybe the thing that impressed me most with Mason in this game was I didn't expect him to be that good as a receiver. He had a couple of pretty nice routes and he had a couple of really nice catches where he didn't lose speed catching the football and he ran after the catch pretty well. That was something that was a total surprise because like you said, like Kyle Shanahan said, we knew that he was a capable runner. That was never the question with him. There were other things that kept him off of the field. And he looked like a capable receiver in this game. He looked like more than just a guy that they're putting out there to mimic what Christian McCaffrey would do on a play. Like he was a legitimate threat.
He had a nice catch on a 3rd and short with a defender kind of, I don't want to say draped all over him, but very close. He made the catch, held onto the ball, secured the first down. Nice to see because he's clearly put a lot of work into it. He told everybody he bought the jugs machine in the offseason because he wanted to get better there. He's got to feel good tonight. More carries than he's had in a game since high school for Jordan Mason tonight. And Troy Aikman had a good line. He said he's going to wake up sore tomorrow, but it's going to be the best soreness he's ever felt. And I'm just so happy for Jordan Mason. Hopefully they let him go to the podium after the game. That'd be a nice little thing for him. Warlock says Brock looked great, and we're going to get to all the super chats, so please keep them coming. Thank you. Warlock says Brock looked great. Offense and defense were great. BA looks uninterested, looked at his body language. Happy for the win since I hate the Packers and Rodgers. I love seeing Aaron Rodgers lose. I'm not going to hide it. He drives me crazy. And did you see that point in the broadcast where they showed his face, Vish? They zoomed in on his face. Oh, my God. It made me smile so much because he looks like the Great Gazoo in that stupid green helmet, and he just looked utterly and completely flabbergasted. He looked like he had no idea. And if you're watching on the stream, there it is. I just threw it up. Look at him. Look at his stupid face and his stupid helmet that looks like it's from 1960. Oh, I couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't get enough of it, Vish.
I'm sorry. I don't share those opinions. I don't really like Aaron Rodgers anymore, but I'm still in a lot of ways in awe of him. And I think that's just because of our age difference in Aaron Rodgers' career. Like, I was a teenager. I was 11, 12, 13, 14. That was when I saw Aaron Rodgers, and I'd never seen a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, the talent he has, the way he changed the game in terms of people following Aaron Rodgers' mechanics, all of those kinds of things. I don't know. I'm not really ever like feeling like, yes, like in your face, Aaron Rodgers. It's not like when the Niners beat Sean McVay, just because that one time he ran all the way to the end zone to celebrate 3 years ago. Now it's like in your face. Or when Mike McDaniel loses, just because of how emotional he was 2 years ago when he showed up to Levi's. Like, it's like in your face for me. It's not like that with Aaron Rodgers.
No Aaron Rodgers praise on the show. When they made him move at all, he didn't look like the same quarterback. He was very uncomfortable in the pocket. You could see it. He talked about, I don't know if you saw the pregame, the interview with Alex Smith. He talked about, like he hasn't been hit. He hasn't played in a long time. Like he wanted to get hit to kind of feel that. Like, I think he was in his head a little bit. That's fine by me. Great, Aaron Rodgers. Go home. Get the hell out. You can't beat the 49ers. Samuel Bonilla says,
here's my thing. One thing I want to say. I know we're not Jets content creators, we're 49ers content creators, or whatever you want to call us, whatever like word you want to associate with us. But was the Jets' only plan on offense in this game that trick that they got the Niners early where, oh, if we don't let them sub on 3rd down and we hurry up after a 2nd down run and come to the line, we might be able to get Rodgers 20 seconds to call out every single thing at the line of scrimmage and be able to throw a slot fade to Garrett Wilson against Diamador Lenore. Was that their only plan in this game? I mean, Robert Saleh is coming into this season on the hot seat. Aaron Rodgers is talking Super Bowl. The media has been putting tremendous amount of pressure on them. And I know Aaron Rodgers loves and believes in Nat Hackett, but was that their only plan? And look, I know Niners fans, we have the benefit of tremendous coaching with Kyle Shanahan. We don't necessarily see this on a week in and week out basis, but that was something that kind of blew my mind. Just the difference in how prepared these two teams were. The Niners had a first layer and a second layer and a third layer to their plan, each building off of each other and attacking the Jets and wearing them down, all the way through the way they managed the clock, all the way to carrying the ball, all the way to the end of the half, and then that really long drive, running the football, completely negating and wearing out Quinnen Williams, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, all of these terrific pass rushers. Like, it was so masterfully crafted and put together when you combine game strategy, X's and O's and everything. And then the Jets, like, that's what they had.
So there's a lot of things there I want to react to. Samuel Bonilla says, too many field goals and inconsistent play from Brock. Love how the O-line looked, though. Super stoked for Jordan Mason. Man, that's pretty critical in a game that you won 32-19. I'll say this. You mentioned the time. The 49ers did a masterful job controlling the clock because they controlled the line of scrimmage. They went from the Niners did. The Jets punted with 5:27 left in the second quarter. They didn't get the ball back until after the second half, after the Niners scored a touchdown with 7:39 in the third, that was the possession that ended with the interception. So from the time the 49ers got the ball, 5:27 left in the second, to the time that pass was intercepted, the Jets ran 4 plays for 16 yards and had that pick. That was complete domination by the 49ers, and it's a credit to the offensive line, who looked awesome. Dominic Purdy, hell yeah, you passed your first test with flying colors, and it's a credit to the defensive line that dominated in the trenches as well. Just a smothering performance on both sides of the ball by the Niners.
And it's again just masterful game planning. Am I echoing, Rob? I randomly started echoing.
Not to me. I know you want to hop out and hop back in again. I can get through some of these super chats.
This is too important, Rob. But Bill Belichick, I was watching the Manning cast, and Bill Belichick was pointing out the different ways that they were running away and into Quinnen Williams, who is the 3 technique for the Jets. Obviously, tremendous player. And it's kind of similar, little different strategically, but kind of similar to the way Daniel Brunskill used to quote unquote dominate Aaron Donald, all the different angles they used to block him from, the way they would sometimes let him up the field, sometimes double team him, all the different looks. Oh.
What?
Look at the chat.
What am I? Sorry, I'm scrolling down here. Wait, what's happening? Getting a lot of feedback. All right, Vish, hop out and hop back in. We'll get that straightened out. Jordan Mason apparently told the broadcast that he knew he was going to be starting on Friday night. I didn't see that. Let me know if that's happening. In the meantime, I'll get to some of these super chats. Chris Waddell says, JP, couple observations. Kyle still scared of 4th down and tried to get Debo killed. Haha. Puni looks absolutely legit. Ran behind him a lot tonight. So cool. Colton still sucks. Yeah, Colton McKivitz had a lot of problems. But Dominic Puni looked awesome. And the 49ers ran to the right successfully multiple times in this game. And it was like, oh, imagine that. We can run to the right. In fact, some of their biggest runs came to the right in the game. And that's a credit to Dominic Puni, who looked awesome. This was a baptism by fire for Dominic Puni, and he looked great in the game. All right, Vish is back. Vish, talk, and let's see if we can get rid of your echo here.
I think you changed something, Rob, because when the show started, I wasn't echoing.
I didn't.
Now I'm still echoing.
If you're still echoing, then hop out, because that's driving people crazy. I didn't change anything. I swear to God. Hold on. Let me edit your mic settings. Let me try this. All right, now talk.
Hello. No, I
you're never.
Echo.
If you hear it, then I don't know, restart or something and hop back in, because obviously
I feel like you did something.
I didn't do anything. Here, restart or
right,
close the window and we'll figure it out. Sorry about that, everybody. We'll try to get that straightened out. Let's see. Antonio says Brock had a bit of an off game and no Christian McCaffrey, but it didn't matter. Kyle was on fire all game. Aaron Rodgers looked good, but he had to do everything on offense. Overall, the Niners are simply a lot better. They are a lot better than the Jets, and they played like it. And I was a little nervous, with the Aiyuk and Trent Williams. Trent played every snap. He had to go get an IV at one point, but that's incredible. Antonio, YouTube channel member. Appreciate that. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, it's less than $3 a month. You get custom emojis, membership badges, priority comment responses. Almost 1,000 people watching. So shout out to everybody. We appreciate it. In my opinion, this is the best 49ers postgame show anywhere. And if you give us a chance, I promise we'll continue to earn your time. Let's see. Next up, Sway says, bro, Jordan Mason knew he was starting on Friday. Yeah, apparently he said that on the broadcast. Let's try Vish one more time. Vish, please tell me you're here. Is there an echo? I've never heard the echo, but people are saying that there was one. I hope there's not. So Jordan Mason.
Now? No, I still kind of hear it. Dang.
Well, sorry, Vish. I can't have you on the show if it's going to be echoing and driving people crazy. I don't know what the heck's going on there. I didn't change anything with the audio. But I don't. It's distracting. So unfortunately, if we can't figure this out, I'm going to have to call it a night.
All right, no worries. Have a
good
one.
AirPods. Do you have regular headphones? I bet it's your AirPods, because AirPods suck. You got old school cans?
No, I don't think it's the AirPods.
I think it is the AirPods.
Oh, I stopped echoing. Oh, never mind. It's back.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Vish. I really appreciate it. Sorry that it didn't work out, but yeah, the echo is killing. So appreciate it. All right. That's Vish Kumar and everybody. Jordan Mason said he knew he was starting on Friday, they said on the broadcast that Christian McCaffrey pulled himself out of practice on Friday. So obviously the calf is a thing. Look, it's a positive night, man. I want to be positive here. I don't like what's going on with Christian McCaffrey. I don't like the fact that he had all offseason to heal up, and as soon as he started doing football stuff again, it became a thing again immediately. So that's not ideal for the 49ers, and they got to get that straightened out because he's certainly a better player than Jordan Mason, and they are going to need him. I'm not going to look at tonight and say, oh, they're good, Jordan Mason, no problem. No. They need Christian McCaffrey very, very, very much. So we'll see. Adam Schefter did say he doesn't think he's going to play in Minnesota. Artificial turf. Don't love that. Short week. That's a little, it's going to get tougher here, but we'll see how that all works out. Perfect Blackness Senior says some 49er fan actually picked the Jets on points. I can't remember who. Yeah, that was me. Never been happier to lose a bet. Lost that bet. I did win my Jordan Mason plus 700 bet to score a touchdown. Thank you, Michelle Majuk, who does our fantasy and gambling show on Friday. She told everybody to make that bet. She was dead on accurate. She also had Debo scoring a touchdown. She was absolutely on fire. She had Aaron Rodgers over 1 interception as well, I believe. So you may want to check that out on Fridays. JCG 1987 YouTube channel member says Jake Moody is 4 of 5 on 50-yard field goals. It took Robbie 6 years into his career to make 4. Jake Moody 6 for 6 tonight. Banged one off the uprights, still went through. 6 for 6 for Jake Moody, made 2 extra points as well. That's a nice 20-point night for Jake Moody. Made some fantasy owners very, very happy. Matthew Rowley says have to shore up the red zone offense. Yeah, they got down there a bunch of times. They could have put this one out of reach early, frankly. They didn't cash in the end zone, sometimes due to penalties, sometimes due to ineffectiveness. But the first field goal, they got all the way down to the Jets 29. Had to kick it. That was 4th and 7. Second field goal, they got all the way down to the Jets 33. Kicked it again. Third field goal, they got all the way down to the Jets 13-yard line. Kicked it again. So like I said, it could have been more. One of those obviously was the Brandon Aiyuk drop. That was very frustrating, but room for improvement, which is a great thing to say when you put up 32 points, right? Room for improvement. Craig Steele, YouTube channel member for a month. Thank you very much, Craig. I appreciate the support. The Run D had a great showing tonight. They stomped the Jets in the trenches. We haven't seen that kind of run defense from the 49ers in a very, very long time. We never saw it last year. The Jets, again, I said it earlier, they ran the ball 19 times for 68 yards. That's 3.6 yards per carry. They did have a rushing touchdown, but it was a short run. The run defense was awesome. Leonard Floyd, Nick Bosa, Malik Collins in the middle, Javon Hargrave in the middle. There was nothing for the Jets. There was absolutely nothing all night long. Huge credit to the defense, 1,000%. John Veen said Mason getting 49ers fine, said he knew he was starting on Friday. A lot of people have brought that up. Not ideal for the 49ers. J. Bob Bravosky, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Yeah. Kawika Pressler, YouTube channel member, just hopped in. Thank you very much. You join, I give you the fist pump. I appreciate that. I promise I will keep earning your time. Andre Garibay, Pooney making this offensive line way better than last year. Yeah, I said it earlier. He looks great, man. He looks like an absolute steal in the third round. They can run to the right now. They can run to the right. Purdy has time to throw. Again, this is a very, very good Jets defense that they put up 32 points on, that they scored on 8 straight drives on. This is not, the Carolina Panthers out there. This is the New York Jets. That's an incredible statement by the 49ers and their offensive line. I think I saw a stat that the 49ers, Brock Purdy was only pressured on 2 pass attempts the whole night. And one of those was a 3rd and 6 where Brock stood tough in the pocket and hit Brandon Aiyuk on a pass on the sideline. Like, unbelievable job. That has not been the case for Brock Purdy in his 49ers tenure. He's had to work under pressure, and he didn't have to do that in this one, and that's part of the reason they put up 32 points. Amari Cooper definitely wishes Brandon Aiyuk took the trade, says JCG 1987. That's well done. I'm sure he does. And think about it. Like, what if that's the worst version of Brandon Aiyuk that we see all year? Like, wouldn't that be a pleasant surprise? He ended up going 2 catches for 28 yards on 5 targets in the game. That could be the worst version of BA that we see. I'll take that, especially when the 49ers, Juwan Jennings tied for the team lead in catches with Debo. Juwan 5 for 64. Debo had 5 for 54. Debo also ran it 8 times for 23 yards. The Debo on the ground thing, I feel like unless it's a reverse, he really hasn't had the same success that he had in 2021. But Debo obviously made a bunch of other plays tonight. Nees says Rodgers didn't throw at Ward once. And when they did, Tyrod did. It was a near pick and an illegal touching. Really psyched about our secondary. I said it going in. I think this is the best secondary the 49ers have had under Kyle Shanahan. I absolutely do. I think it's just deeper. I think the players there are better. There was a 4th and 1 where the Rodgers and the Jets were driving, and Isaac Yiadom knocked the ball away from Garrett Wilson. Now, he may have gotten there a little early. He made contact with the hands, but you know what? They didn't call it. So it was a pass breakup. I think the secondary's good, man. We didn't even talk about Renardo Green, who, obviously we're hoping he develops as we go along, but Diamondor Lenore, man, looks good. He had the tip that led to the Demetrius Flanagan-Foles interception in the game. He's awesome, man. I really think he is on a vengeance. It's a contract year for him. He is making himself some money every single week, and he's earning that money because he looks fantastic. Batman 29, I've been a Mason Truther since his rookie year. Is it crazy to say we could have won the Super Bowl if he got some touches? He would have extended many drives. I'm not willing to go that far. I'm really not willing to go that far. But he looked great tonight, and we should be happy. Let's not talk about the Super Bowl last year. We're in 2024 now. It's opening night. The 49ers spanked the Jets in prime time. This is going to be a fun week because everybody's going to say nice things about the 49ers. Let's just enjoy that. I don't want to go back to the Super Bowl. Oh, boy. Okay. Let's see. Sparthy or Kiwi Warrior says, did Mason prove that Christian McCaffrey is a system running back? Well done. I apologize if I got your name wrong. Please correct me in the chat. Levin Black is here throwing in a super thanks. Thanks, Levin. Jason PDSI, YouTube channel member. Niner running game made Rodgers Mr. Irrelevant. Ooh, I see what you did there. Look, Rodgers was 13 of 21 in the game for 167. He had a touchdown and a pick. Was sacked once as well. Just, look, the game plan got away from Rodgers. And I think the key part of that came after the Jordan Mason touchdown after halftime. Because what does Aaron Rodgers like to do? He likes to get up to the line of scrimmage. He likes to run the play clock down. First he tries to get you to jump off sides. And then he runs the play clock down because he wants to see the defense. He wants to see what you do. Where do you line up? Where are the safeties? Who's on who? Let me put a guy in motion. He wants the whole picture. And then he wants to snap the ball and do damage against the defense once he feels like he knows what's coming. Well, when Mason scores the touchdown on the first drive of the second half, it's 23-7 49ers. You sort of disarm that from him. You take that away from him because if he's running down the play clock, that works in the 49ers' favor because the time is ticking away. And it's 23-7. It's a multiple score game that really limits Breece Hall and what he can do because you need to pass the ball to move down the field to make up the scores. So I thought getting a touchdown there instead of a field goal, because a field goal would have made it 19-7, and you don't feel that urgency. The fact that they got the touchdown, 23-7, they go on an 11-play, 70-yard drive that takes up 7 minutes and 18 seconds, basically half the third quarter, sucked up by the 49ers on that drive. I thought it really, really shifted and tilted the game plan in the 49ers' favor. It's exactly the way the 49ers are built to win. Run the ball, hit you with some play action to pick up chunk plays in the passing game, and tilt it offensive or defensively, I should say, so the pass rushers can get after you and they don't have to worry about the run. That is how the 49ers are built to play and beat you, and it worked to a T tonight. It is exactly how they would draw it up. Kyle Shanahan told the broadcast he wanted to have, 35, 40 carries, and let's see, the 49ers ended up in the game with a total of 38, so right on the mark, pretty much. Tyler Silvis says, just tell Vish to do the call without the boom mic or mute the mic on the AirPods. Yeah, the AirPods, I hate AirPods. I absolutely hate AirPods. Andre Garibay says, room for improvement, BA, touchdowns instead of threes. Yes, that's totally fair. There's room for improvement, which is crazy to say in a 32-19 win in a league that's designed for everybody to be even. That's a great thing for the 49ers. Stephen A. I somehow doubt it's you, Stephen A. Smith, but if it is, thanks. If it is you, you can donate a little more than $4.99, I'll just say, but thank you anyway. Funny to watch Kyle lie to the reporter at half. No, Kyle, you have not used Mason a lot over the past few years. I don't remember that he said that. That's funny if he did, but he did say, this is what he always looks like. It was never about him as a runner. Vish said it earlier. It was never about him as a runner. It was about him doing the other stuff, the pass protection, him as a receiver and being a threat as a receiver. That's what held Jordan Mason back. And he seemingly worked on the receiving thing. The pass protection wasn't an issue, although, like I said, I think Brock kind of directed traffic a little bit. And he got his opportunity, and he made the most of it. Good for you, Jordan Mason. 147 yards tonight on 28 carries. What a beast. Warlock says, did you see the latest controversy? Mason said after the game he knew he was starting on Friday. The Niners had Christian McCaffrey questionable on Saturday. Well, but you can start. If you're Jordan Mason, you could still start that game even if McCaffrey plays, right? Like, technically, the 49ers can maybe weasel a lot of that by saying, yeah, sure, we said we were going to start him, but we plan on playing Christian McCaffrey. You know, like you have plausible deniability there if you're the 49ers. Antonio, thank you for the super chat. YouTube channel member says, considering how good these corners are, Aiyuk having a bad game was predictable. He'll be fine week 2 and beyond. He only had 2 drops last year, so that shouldn't be an issue. It was a tough game, tough week 1 game for Brandon Aiyuk coming in with no preseason whatsoever, 100%. And, you know, he didn't quite look himself. He made some body catches where he didn't really catch the ball with his hand. You can't play football. You can't get ready for football without playing football. I don't care who you are. Trent Williams may be the rare exception to that rule. He played every friggin' snap and was good. But most people, most humans need to play football to get ready for football. J. Bob Bavowski says, Michelle's JP Mason bet won me $700. Let me know when you air Friday's show so I can leave a proper super chat. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, J. Bob. You're not, entitled to do that, but we'll take it. That show, our betting and gambling show, is 9:15 a.m. on Fridays. We go live every single Friday. Michelle and I give you our best bets in the game. Yeah, I cashed in on that as well. Thank you very much. Incognito D says, why does Rob keep gulping? I don't know. Sorry. Probably because I have to talk a lot and I'm excited. Mr. J Fizz said, Mr. J Fizz gifted 5 Gold Standard Podcast Network memberships. Thank you, Mr. J Fizz. Look at you spreading the love. I appreciate it. Hawaii Niner says, stats. Yadam had a rough game, but he came through in the clutch. Yadam or Green. I can't say I watched specifically to know who had a good game, if Yadam had a good game or Green. Like, I don't know. I'm going to rewatch. I'll rewatch tomorrow. I'll break it down. I'm not saying you're wrong, for the record. I don't know. But he did make that play on 4th down. Yadam did. Canis Rufus, thank you. YouTube channel member for 7 months, says, football is back, baby. Let's go, Niners. Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. This is an absolute statement win by the 49ers. Everyone wanted to see what the Jets were going to be. Everyone thought the cracks were showing in the 49ers foundation. Well, can they do it again? Can they climb again? Then we get word that Christian McCaffrey is not going to play before kickoff, and the Niners go out and they drop 32 points on the Jets in Aaron Rodgers' return. They put up 401 total yards. They score on 8 straight drives, 180 yards on the ground. They control the ball for almost 39 minutes in the game. You want to talk statement wins? I say nobody made a bigger one than the 49ers. And maybe I got the Homer goggles on right now. Maybe. But damn, that is an impressive win by the 49ers. By the way, Antonio throws in the chat, off topic, but RIP James Earl Jones. Yes, Darth Vader forever. Love James Earl Jones. Was definitely bummed by that news. Excuse me. Brock is at the podium now. So let me know if he says anything interesting. I'll try and keep an eye on it as well. Joel Andrus says, Rob, how did your Jets +4 pick do? Yeah, I lost the bet. Okay, I lost the bet. It's hardly the first time. It definitely won't be the last time. But like I said, I also won on the Jordan Mason bet. So I'm up on the day. So I'm feeling good. Tyler says they had at least 3 no calls on Nick Bosa in the third. Also good to hear y'all's voices. I've been MIA since February. Look, I get it, man. It hurts. Last year hurt, right? It's hard to get yourself ready and up for that again, but I'm glad you're back. Thank you. We're back. The Niners are back. It's 2024. Who cares who won the Super Bowl in 2023? We're full speed ahead, man, and let's enjoy it. We got to enjoy these wins because we don't know what could happen a week from now or 2 weeks from now or whatever. So let's just enjoy the win, and let's do it together, by the way. Stephen A. is back, says, needed a win by 13 to 18 to win $150. I was sweating. Yeah, some of these bets can make you a little nervous for sure. Hink Dad says, are they ever going to flag players for holding and choking Bosa? He had a great game, but holy cow, it's getting old. Yeah, so there was that one play where Bosa had a spin move and he was pushing the defender back into Aaron Rodgers. He like didn't get all the way around on the spin, and he was still pressuring Aaron Rodgers because he was still backing the tackle into Aaron Rodgers. And it was freaking phenomenal to see. I couldn't believe they didn't call a holding penalty on the play. I think Guy Haberman tweeted it out. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, there's Bosa. There's the spin, and he's pushing the guy back into Aaron Rodgers. Just a ridiculous, unbelievable play. Bosa looked like Defensive Player of the Year. Bosa, that is awesome, man. I have to say. Whoop, sorry, went to the wrong screen. Fantastic move there by Nick Bosa. No flag. What else is new? That's generally how it goes for him. I'm sure he was probably pretty frustrated at some point. But, yep, Nick Bosa, this just in, still good. Whew, what a night. Ooh, Mr. J. Fizz handed out 4 more Gold Standard Podcast memberships. Thank you. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, again, it's less than $3 a month. If you become a member, you get custom emojis, membership badges, priority comment response in the game. Let me just give Twitter a quick check because I haven't seen what people are saying at the podium. I know that Jordan Mason thing is going to be an interesting thing. I'm so happy for him. Frank Gore on the side or at halftime getting honored for going into the 49ers Hall of Fame. Just a great night at Levi's all around. Kyle Shanahan said this on Christian McCaffrey, quote, same stuff that was bothering him all week. There was too much today. Game time decision. Thought it would be smart to keep him out and glad we did. Christian McCaffrey was able to practice through the week. Today it was bothering him too much. See, that's when the 49ers get into trouble. Because if Jordan Mason says he knew he was starting on Friday and Kyle says, hey, it was a game time decision, now you get into a little dicey situation, right? Because clearly Kyle has an incentive to lie, without question. Jordan Mason has no incentive to make up the fact that he was starting on Friday. He's not going to just like randomly pull that out of thin air. So, yeah, that may be dicey for the 49ers, but you know what? That's their damn problem to worry about. It's not my problem to worry about. Jason Pitney Sr. says Fred Warner set the tone tonight. He often does for this defense. He looked like he was flying around. And the thing I liked from Fred, there was one run in particular. I think it was early in the game. He flew through the hole. He hit the running back. He kind of like hit him and like flew off of him. And the running back went down. And I felt like there was a lot of times last season where the exact same thing would happen and the ball carrier would keep going. And Fred just didn't have enough on the tackle to actually bring the guy down. And he did tonight. And it was nice to see because we know Fred can get there. That's not the problem. He's got wheels to get anywhere he needs to get. The question is, was he going to bring a guy down? And he did tonight. And that was nice to see. Law of Awe. Nice handle. Says Collins looked good. Malik Collins had a couple nice pressures in the game. I thought the whole defensive line looked good, really. I think they adjusted a little bit. There was the Jets touchdown drive with Aaron Rodgers, the first one where he threw it to, I think it was Lazard. They converted multiple 3rd and 7+ on the drive. And everyone was Garrett Wilson, just do. And it looked easy for Aaron Rodgers. And there was no pressure, and he was just going right down the field. But after that, I felt like the 49ers adjusted. I felt like for the most part, they played tight defense when they needed to. I thought it was a great debut from Nick Sorensen. That was exactly what you would want to see in the 49ers victory. And let's see if it keeps going, frankly. I hope it does. I'd like to see more of it, more confusing stuff from him. Let's go. You got the Minnesota Vikings next week in Minnesota is a place that the 49ers haven't won in a long time, but you're facing Sam Darnold. Let's be honest, even without Christian McCaffrey, you got to win that game. You should win that game. Next gen stats. Oh, this is good. Let me throw this up on the screen. Trent Williams did not allow a single pressure tonight against the Jets on 33 pass blocking snaps. It was Williams' first game without allowing a pressure since week 3 of 2022 with a minimum of 14 pass blocking snaps. And he didn't have any training camp and he didn't have any preseason. The man is a unicorn. He is a unicorn. He walks in, shows up, dominates one of the best defenses in the league. Like that dude is going to the Hall of Fame. Just book it. I am so glad he's on our side. I am so glad the 49ers finally paid him. Took longer than we wanted, but he's in and he is dominating, and that is awesome. That is simply unbelievable. That's why he's going to the Hall of Fame, for sure. Sign Me 29 says, don't let him practice. Yeah, Trent, just take it easy here. Just take it easy, Trent. Don't worry. We know you'll be good. And I was skeptical of that, man, because we'd heard that about Bosa and Debo, right? Like, oh, they're going to be good. And then they weren't. Well, Trent Williams was. So, and CJ Leach says that dude needs a ring. You're 100% right. He absolutely does. Andre Garibay with a good point. He says Bobby Turner is a running back guru, the Niners running back coach. The guy's in his late 70s and still finding studs. Yeah, it's really weird. And Troy Aikman, said that on the broadcast. He was like, Bobby Turner finds running backs. Nobody's gotten more touchdowns from undrafted running backs than Kyle Shanahan since he's been in the league. I believe Mason's was the 40th. And it's like, well, if you're so good at finding undrafted running backs, then why are you spending a 3rd-round pick on Trey Sermon and a 3rd-round pick on Ty Davis Price and a 4th-round pick on Isaac Arenda? Like, just go with the undrafted guys. But whatever, man. You can never have too many good players, I guess. And Jordan Mason proved that tonight. He absolutely gets a game ball. Let me throw it out to you. Who gets your game ball tonight in the 49ers victory over the Jets? You got to give one to Jordan Mason for sure. Again, more carries than he's had in a game since high school. He didn't have that many carries in any game in his college career, but he did tonight, absolutely answering the bell now that Christian McCaffrey was not in the game. 28 carries, 147 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. Jordan Mason 1,000% deserves a game ball. And I bet when we see the clip afterwards, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow, where they show the locker room speech, you're going to see Jordan Mason with a game ball in his hand, because it was a beat down. And it was beautiful, beautiful to see. Hawaii Niner says, I'm never not taking on Michelle's bets. Jordan Mason crushed it tonight. Michelle's good at what she does. There's a reason I hired her. She's awesome. And she should get a game ball every single week. Let's see. Marshall Mallow says Juwan Jennings and Jordan Mason. Juwan had a couple nice catches, as he normally does in the game. There was a little point where I thought he was injured because he seemed to aggravate his ankle, or maybe it was an oblique, something on one of the play, but he came back in after that and finished the game, so that's good. I haven't seen, what did Kyle say about injuries? Did anybody see? If you saw, let me know, because I didn't see that. Mr. J Fizz, YouTube channel member, thank you for making this show an amazing show before work and after work. I always listen to the podcast on Spotify, and I appreciate Niner News. Let's bleeping go. Thank you, Mr. J Fizz, and I appreciate you sharing the YouTube channel memberships as well. That's awesome. And if anybody else that wants to do that, please do. I really do appreciate that. I work hard on this, but I love doing this, and I love all the support from you. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you. Please stick with us. I promise you I will keep earning your time. Just give us a chance. I think you're going to like what you hear. Next up, let me get to this super chat. Candice Rufus says, Purdy gets a game ball, offensive line of the future. It was so nice to hear all the nice things about Dominic Purdy all training camp long, to see those things in real life with our own eyes in the preseason games, and then to watch the game tonight, first game in the regular season against good competition. And Dominic Purdy looked exactly the same in all of those. And that is awesome. And the thing about Purdy that was encouraging tonight, I can't remember who said it. Somebody said it on Twitter, I think, and I apologize for not giving you credit. The run game was supposed to be his weakness. He was clearing guys. He was shoving guys out of the club tonight on a lot of plays. Maybe not every play, but there were a lot of plays where he was making a hell of a lot of space for Jordan Mason. Let's be honest. You don't run for 147 yards if you're JP Mason without some help from your O-line. Purdy and the O-line absolutely deserve a game ball. And to get him in the 3rd round, that is massive for the 49ers. Just a massive, massive pick. He looked absolutely fantastic. And keep it up, please. Keep it up. Let's have an offensive line where you can run to both sides. That'd be great. Who else gets a game ball? Oh, I saw somebody said Mooney Ward for not being targeted at all. That's a good point, right? Like, just because we don't say his name doesn't mean he didn't have a good game. The Jets basically have Garrett Wilson, and that's it, and Breece Hall in the pass game, but really it's Garrett Wilson. And outside of one drive, they didn't let Garrett Wilson hurt him at all. CJ Leach says, did Purdy give up a pressure? I don't know. I haven't seen those numbers yet, but if he did, I don't remember it off the top of my head. And I can tell you, I remember quite a few Colton McKivitz pressures that he gave up. First 2 big 3rd downs of the game, Colton McKivitz gave up pressures. I don't remember saying, boy, Dominic Purdy really got his ass kicked on that one. Jake Brendel did at one point. Colton McKivitz did at one point. Not Dominic Purdy, as far as I know. Greg S. says Ward was awesome and Lenore too. Yeah, Lenore looks really good, man. Like really good. Really just the upward trajectory on Diamador Lenore is so encouraging to see. It makes such a difference for this defense when you have those guys. Because again, they can make life easier for the pass rush. They can make it easy for Bosa, or easier, I should say, for Bosa to get home. They don't have to instantly win off the line of scrimmage to be able to get a pressure on a quarterback, right? They can have a play where Bosa, like we saw tonight, Bosa just pushes Rodgers in a certain direction. Who comes around the other side? Leonard Floyd, not because he won the rep right away, because he has a high motor and he eventually won out, and boom, he gets a sack. First sack on third down of the game, I believe. Partly because the secondary is there and can allow for that thing to happen. They're taking away the first read. They're not making it easy for the quarterback like we saw so many times last year. We didn't see that tonight. Let's see. JJ00 on Twitch says, where was the juice game ball? That catch was glorious. Nice to have a quarterback that can hit Kyle Juszczyk on those deep passes. Not saying, just saying. Once a game, I feel like you can get that pretty much. And they wanted a big play, and there was Kyle Juszczyk making a catch, 34 yards on the play, set the 49ers up in the red zone. It was beautiful. Mr. J Fizz is just throwing out Gold Standard Podcast memberships. Thank you, Mr. J Fizz. I appreciate that. Appreciate you very much. I saw somebody wants me to give Jake Moody a game ball. Look, when you friggin' make every kick that you take, and what did he kick? 8 in the game. 6 field goals, 2 extra points. Yeah, I'll give you a game ball. I'll 100% give you a game ball. Gameplan.exe says Akashan Varathan and at Akashanov, subscribe. That person must have been God. Kyle Shanahan on who told Jordan Mason he was starting on Friday. Oh, did Akash put that quote out from Kyle Shanahan? That person must have been God. That's funny. Oh, God, that's funny. Yeah, they'll have a talk with Jordan Mason. Jordan, just lie to the media next time. That's how you could tell Jordan Mason hasn't had a lot of opportunity with the 49ers, because he doesn't have the media savvy yet. That's funny. Yeah, Valerie says Jordan Mason definitely got yelled at 1,000%. That's funny. Yeah, he just doesn't know. Like, Jordan, you don't have to always tell them the truth. Just lie to them. They'll never know. Wedge Antilli says, Rob, you have to watch the video of Peyton Manning about BA's easy drop. Highly recommended. Yeah, I said that I wanted to go back and watch the Manning cast, because when it's my team playing, I like to watch the real announcers. They go to the sideline reporter. You get information from them. They talk about what they heard in the production meeting. I like to hear the real announcers with the Manning cast. Plus, last year, they didn't talk about the game that much. So I will go back and watch that broadcast and see what they said. I'm sure Peyton wasn't happy, though. Look, he's a quarterback. He wants his guys to catch every pass, especially the touchdowns, right? And by the way, that was a dot from Brock Purdy. Perfect throw in the back of the end zone to Brandon Aiyuk. And look, you can say it was a tough catch, and I'm not saying it was easy, but when you sign the contract that Brandon Aiyuk signed, the expectations for your level of play go up. They just do, because that contract is going to make it harder for the team to be as deep. And so that means the stars have to play like stars, and they have to pick up the slack. And it's not necessarily fair, but that's the reality of the situation. So, yeah, and I think BA will be better, but that was disappointing to see that drop. Taneas, I'm not sure if I said that right, but thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody. You guys have been unbelievable with the donations tonight. Thank you. There's about 800 people watching. Again, if this is your first time with the Gold Standard Podcast Network, please stick with us. I promise you we will earn your time. Thank you for joining us. Vish Kumaran would have stuck around, but we had some technical issues that was driving people crazy. I apologize for that. Try to get that straightened out. I'm 99.9% sure it was the AirPods. That's why I hate it. Kenneth Conklin says, hey, everyone, remember it's week 1. That's fair. Like, we don't need to get too excited. But also, I will say this. Other than the Jordan Mason, which, you know, he's not going to run for 148 yards every week. What did we see from the 49ers that was uncharacteristic, right? What did we see that was so bizarre? If you want to say the run defense, okay, that's fair. And that's something to keep an eye on. But other than that, like, didn't it kind of look like most of what we saw last year from the 49ers, especially before that Ravens game? It kind of looked like this is what they do, right? They brought everybody back on offense for a reason. The offensive line could be better with Puni, and this is what they're capable of. They're capable of dropping 30 points on anybody at any time. Gray Fox 198 says, what position are we going to give Salah when he comes back next season? Very well done. Look, I think I picked the Jets to go to the AFC Championship game. They have a chance to improve. 49ers are really good, man. The 49ers are really good. And it's a credit to all the players they have. It's a credit to Kyle Shanahan. It's all of it, man. So let's not make any conclusions. But again, in week one, the 49ers looked a lot like they looked last year. It was great to see. We'll see what happens with the running game. You know, maybe Jordan Mason caught the Jets off guard. I don't know. I certainly think he's pretty damn good. But I'm not going to get too high. But Sunday or Monday night after the first game, yeah, I'm going to be happy. Hell yeah, I'm going to be happy. And we all should be happy, man. It's a nice win by the 49ers. It's a damn nice win. Sign me 29 on Twitch says Robert Saleh is going to go work for D'Amico Ryans. That's funny. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there much longer. If they don't make the playoffs this year, he's going to be gone. I think they will, but if they don't, if it goes bad and they lose a couple games, Rodgers may just check out and say, F it. And then that would be bad for Salah, but we'll see. A lot of people think I'm crazy for picking the Jets to go to the AFC Championship. That's fine. That's fine. Rick G says, I saw the Gold Bar whiskey behind Stats. They sell limited edition bottles in the Bay Area at Costco. I do have that. I haven't opened it. I got it last season. I'm not going to open it unless the 49ers win the Super Bowl, in which case I'll probably drink the whole damn bottle. Gameplan.exe. It's midnight stats time and his speech is slowing down. When do we let him hang up, fam? My speech is slowing down? Oh, geez. I hope not. Sometimes I think I talk too fast, so I try to slow it down a little bit for you. 8089er, YouTube channel member, says, we still need an end who can set the edge. I mean, okay, but it didn't hurt him tonight. Again, the Jets ran for 3.6 yards per carry. You know, I'm not saying everything is perfect and the Niners have no weaknesses. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying at least tonight, let me be happy. I'll review the film and we'll talk about it. And Jason Aponte and Steph Sanchez will do bully ball tomorrow. We'll break all that down. But tonight, let me be happy, man. Although I have to say I was really mad at Kyle Shanahan for. Can I get to it now quickly, please? We're 52 minutes into the show. This will be the last thing. I can't believe on 4th and 1 he kicked a field goal. You made a 2-score game a 2-score game. Just gain a yard. You've been dominating the line of scrimmage the whole game. It's 4th and 1. I don't care that Trent Williams went to the locker room to get an IV. I don't care. It's 4th and 1. Gain a yard. You're at the 5-yard line. If you don't get it, the Jets have to go 95 yards. And by the way, they're still down multiple scores. Just gain the yard, Kyle. Has nobody explained this to him? Again, I don't want to get too worked up about it, but it did tick me off a little bit. Yeah. Brushido, new YouTube channel member. Thank you very much for the fist pump. I appreciate that. All in all, like I said, a dominating performance by the 49ers. Enjoy it this week. Enjoy it. Everyone's going to be talking about your team. Everyone's going to be talking about how good you look. Yeah, they'll talk about the Jets and Rodgers not being good, but they're going to talk about the 49ers. It's always good when your team wins in prime time. And the 49ers did 32-19 tonight. Great way to kick off the 2024 season with all the bad vibes we had this offseason and all the pearl clutching and hand wringing and worrying that we did this offseason. Feels good tonight, doesn't it? Feels really good tonight. And we got to be able to enjoy these. We absolutely have to be able to enjoy these. Shout out again to Mr. J Fizz, who's throwing out YouTube channel memberships like he's Santa at Christmas time. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Niners play in Minnesota next week. Early body clock game for them. 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. You got a real chance to go to L.A. in week 3, 2-0. Because I got to tell you, if you can't beat Sam Darnold, we got real problems. So the 49ers hopefully should be able to do that. Not saying it's going to be easy, but let's be honest. Sam Darnold is not Aaron Rodgers. He's not. People love to say how good Sam Darnold played last week. He barely threw for over 200 yards against the Giants, a trash team. So, real chance to get off to a nice start for the 49ers. And amen. Let's keep this thing rolling, right? No need to start 3-5 like we did a couple years ago. Let's keep this thing rolling down the tracks as we head towards hopefully another playoff appearance and hopefully a hell of a lot more than that. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. Thank you, everybody. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. It really helps people discover us. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's really hard to get discovered with this podcast. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Click the bell to get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. Tomorrow is Jason Aponte and Steph Sanchez, as I said, the Bully Ball Podcast. That will be, let's see, 11:15 a.m. Pacific time. We'll break down the game. We'll have a 49ers at 5 news update that comes out every morning for you as well, with clips from press conferences and highlights from the game and radio interviews. Gets you up to speed on everything happening with the team. So trust the Gold Standard Network with your 49ers coverage. I promise we won't let you down. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. Go Niners, 1-0, and it feels good.